Fans of the love and hip-hop universe believed they understood why Mendeecees Harris was abruptly booted off the program. But now that the truth is out, it's shocking. Betrayal, backstabbing, and bargains that are far worse than anyone could have ever imagined Mendeecees is finally speaking his truth. And let's just say that certain people don't want this. Rumors have been circulating for weeks about whether there are financial issues, production issues, or a setup behind the scenes. But when Mendeecees himself go live, Expos fans were shocked by everything. And believe me, this story is much more than a reality TV drama. It's about devotion, retaliation, and a betrayal so profound that even Yandy wasn't prepared for it. This story is going to take some crazy turns, and by the end, you'll be wondering exactly what I revealed and why the network is rushing to fix the damage. Mendeecees sat in silence, his face displaying a mix of determination and exasperation. The last several weeks have been filled with rumors, whispers, and plain lies about everything you thought you knew. Fans of love and hip-hop conjectured that he had left the show because of low ratings or that a behind-the-scenes contract issue had forced him off. But males these days, he took a deep breath, picked up this phone, and hied the live, since he knew the truth and wasn't going to sit back while everyone else tried to change his story. Sighed, and it was more uglier than anybody had anticipated. As soon as the live broadcast began, viewers began to leave comments asking what had happened, why you had been fired, and whether Yandy was the subject. Arrived quickly, and for a little while, Mendeecees simply shook his head while grinning knowingly into the camera. He wasn't just going to provide them with answers. He was going to reveal the shocking information that would make the whole love and hip-hop ensemble frightened. I see you all talking. He started off with a calm but tense voice, and I hear all these tiny tales being told. I left, but they stated I was fired because of my contract. Let me tell you what actually happened. As soon as he shouted those words, the comments exploded, and Mendeecees paused for a long time, allowing that then, at last, he spoke. It wasn't about ratings or contracts. Rather, it was about treachery. Someone I trusted and was close to sold me out, and they wanted me gone because fans were astonished when he leaned closer to the camera, wondering if he was referring to Yandy, another cast member, or someone from the production. This industry is all about control, and when you start acting contrary to their wishes or breaking their rules, they start looking for methods to cut you off. Just what happened to me. The audience was waiting for him to finish speaking, and the excitement was high. But before he could tell the entire narrative, a statement appeared on the screen that caused him to hesitate. It was the reply, which came from a verified account belonging to a prominent figure in the industry, stated, "Be careful what you say, Mendeecees. You know they're watching." Mendeecees laughed and shook his head, demonstrating the depth of this. Don't want me to say it, but I wasn't afraid at the time. The atmosphere in the room changed, and it wasn't just about a dismissal. It was about a cover-up. Mendeecees were hinting that the more he spoke, the more obvious it seemed that someone had set him up. And then suddenly Yandy appeared. There was something more significant going on behind the scenes that love and hip-hop didn't mention. I'm Yandy's here. Is she going to expose him? What's going on? Mendeecees noticed her name appear and grinned. Oh, you want to tune in now. You want to see what I'm doing. The comments went crazy as I joined the live stream, adding that after a little period of stillness, Yandy asked to join the live MCs. He was hesitant because he knew that allowing her to perform may elevate the event to a new level. But he had nothing to conceal, so he granted the request, and a few seconds later, Yandy's face was on the screen beside his. She appeared nervous, her expression unreadable, and she began speaking in a gentler tone than the audience was shocked by the question, "Are you sure you want to do this?" and instantly started to speculate. Was she warning him, or was she attempting to stop him from speaking? Yandy's side shook her head, looking like, I know you're mad. I know you feel betrayed, but going. Ems crossed his arms, but I can't be certain I did it already. The way I was handling things behind closed doors and putting my trust in the individuals who were meant to support me isn't how Mendeecees laughed angrily in Yandy. And guess what? I understand that things didn't go so well for me, but then Yandy said something that altered everything. You weren't fired, men. Her eyes started with something like shame and frustration, but it was difficult to tell. What did she mean? Who set him up? And why was she just saying this? Mindy sees him lean forward, his jaw clenching, and tells him Yandy. You were set up. The comments went crazy. Yandy hesitated, looking away for a time, and then she took a long breath before whispering, I know who it was, but it wasn't me. Mendeecees' expression darkened, and he remained silent. The audience was on tense, anticipating her next words as he gazed at her with deep-seated betrayal in his eyes. But before she could say anything more, the LI abruptly ended, and the screen went dark. One thing was certain. This was only the start of something much bigger. Fans were left in disbelief. Did the platform shut it down? Did MD stop it himself? Or was someone attempting to silence the truth? His mysterious social media message sent shockwaves across the love and hip-hop fandom. And now everyone was demanding that he stop backing down. I couldn't believe the maelstrom he unleashed. Responses, the conjecture was rife with hypotheses about everything from behind-the-scenes conflicts to legal issues catching up with him. But what Mendeecees had to say was unexpected, since the internet was ablaze with rumors that Yandy was pacing back and forth at home, and that she had called Mendeecees several times, but that he was not returning her calls. She knew her husband when he was pushed into a she feared that he was going to do something reckless, since the last thing they needed was him fighting his way out of the corner, or making a move so unexpected that no one could predict it. Further controversy, but he was sick of being cautious. That evening, a surprise Instagram live notice appeared, and thousands of admirers joined right away to hear his side of the story. The story screen flickered, and he was seated in a darkly lit room with a tense face and an unreadable look. Hate, pay attention, you've been speculating and discussing, but I'm going to set for the record. They won't stop me from speaking. The conversation erupted, with viewers bombarding it with furious messages, question marks, and fire emojis, wanting to know what exactly happened to the Mendeecees. Take a big breath before revealing the shocking information. I was fired because I knew that too much silence would lead to catastrophe, not because I was bringing drama. People were going crazy as they streamed in at breakneck pace. Yandy was watching on her phone when she felt sick to her stomach. What was he doing? Mendeecees were leaning closer to the camera, and his voice was descending. Show it's a business, not just a show, and if you don't play the game the way they want you to, you're kicked out. However, I peeked too much and saw things I shouldn't have seen. The audience was captivated by the fact that this was more than simply a dissatisfied reality star complaining about being fired. It was something more, and it was obvious that Mendeecees weren't scared to go there. Yandy called him. Panic was returning. He was aware that there might be dire repercussions if he said too much, but Mendeecees had already gone too far, and he was prepared to report everything. What do you guys think about me behind closed doors? How do they choose who gets to be the villain and who gets to be the fan favorite? You believe these fights and these scandals are real. Simply put, they organize everything, and when you stop participating, you're replaced. The audience was enthralled, and the comments were rolling in so quickly that Instagram could hardly keep up with everyone else. Reality TV stars began to join the live stream, displaying horrified emojis in an attempt to reveal more. But before I could do so, Yandy's name appeared on his screen, and he hesitated before responding. He swiped to reject the call back at home, which may make things worse. Yandy let out a frustrated sigh. "Mendeecees, what are you doing?" she whispered under his breath. She had to reach him before things got out of hand. But in the meantime, M. Scott, the mastermind behind Love and Hip Hop, had already been notified that her phone was producers and public relations teams were chatting nonstop, and even cast members were contacting them to ask how they should handle this. This wasn't a small outburst. It was a full-blown crisis. Mona wasn't the kind to freak out. She had dealt with more significant scandals in the past. But if MCs were truly going to reveal the inner workings of the show, it was risky, and it wasn't only risky. He smirked as a message appeared on the Mendeecees screen that said, "Now you don't want this smoke." They were terrified and were attempting to silence me, but I wasn't finished. Let's continue our conversation. Regarding contracts, you've probably always wondered why certain cast members remain on the program for years while others leave in an instant. It's not just about ratings. It's also about control. And when you give up power, you were released at that very time when Yandy stormed into the room, grabbing for his phone as she begged, but he yanked her away, saying, "No, Yandy." I'm done playing their game before she could argument. His screen abruptly went dark. The live stream was interrupted, and fans were left stunned. Social media went crazy. Was he shut down by the network? Did Instagram or someone from production step in? Cut him off because of the heavy traffic, but no one knew. Nevertheless, he wasn't backing down, and Mendeecees couldn't believe the tempest. MVs had just declared war on Love and Hip Hop. Everything had erupted all around him since the rumors of this firing started, setting the reality TV world on fire. But what hurt the most was how many people were ignoring him. Individuals he had previously regarded as family. And the final betrayal occurred when an insider from the production team gave fictitious justifications for his dismissal, portraying him as someone who was furious, who had remained silent for too long, found it impossible to work with, and decided it was time to clear his name. He sat in his house and scrolled over through countless messages and remarks, some from admirers who were sneering at him, but many more from others who had already written him off. MCs became too accustomed to him and expelled him. Stated that he believed he was untouchable, but Mona disproved him. His phone was constantly ringing with calls from reporters, former co-stars, and even some business executives who sought the truth. Yandy, who was across the room observing him, could see the fire in his eyes, but he wasn't ready to speak just yet. "You can't let them dictate the story," she said. "You know how this profession works if you stay quiet," she remarked in a forceful yet gentle voice. Mendeecees exhaled sharply. "You think I don't know that, but this isn't just a." Yandy nodded while sitting next to him. "So what's the deal?" "Simply put, they're painting me as someone I'm not. And you know full well that I didn't do half of the things they're accusing me of. I'm going live tonight, and I'm going to set the tone for the conversation." Mendeecees ran a hand down his face before glancing up at her. "Because you sitting cooped up here reading comments isn't going to cure anything." MC shot back, "I'm not going to sit here and let them destroy my name." Yandy's eyes widened. "Are you sure that's the best way?" he asked. "They'll try to twist whatever you say." In the hours that followed, Mendeecees' curiosity grew as Mendeecees' name trended on social media, and even prominent gossip blogs hinted that he was about to break. "They want drama, so I'll give it to them, but only on my terms." Some people conjectured that he would reveal some behind-the-scenes scandal, while others denied that he was going to make shocking accusations against the filmmakers. Regardless, one thing was evidently, everyone was watching. And when he eventually pressed the Instagram Live button, thousands of people flooded in a matter of seconds. The energy was tremendous, and he stared directly into the camera. Now, let's be clear. He started by saying, "I wasn't fired because I was difficult. I wasn't fired because I caused trouble." People demanded further facts and asked what he meant by the guys Mendeecees leaned in his comment area when I refused to play their game any longer. Voice steady but emotional. "You all have no idea how this program actually operates." They wanted me to be a part of something that contradicted everything I believe in. Backstage drama had always been a feature of reality TV, but they believed I was a problem when I refused to participate in some phony, manufactured catastrophe that would make me seem awful. He wasn't merely implying that he and the producers were at odds. He was stating unequivocally that they had attempted to control his plot and that they had cut him off when he resisted. Mendeecees smirked as a fan comment appeared on the screen, asking what they wanted you to do. Let's just say that if I had followed their small plan, you would be viewing a whole other, unauthentic version of myself on your screens. Yandy's voice could then be heard in the background. "Are you certain you want to? I've been silent for too long, and look where that got me." It's time for people to know the truth about the live chat. Mindy saw all of this, but she didn't step away from the camera. Burst with hypotheses. Some fans think he was referring to a romantic triangle, while others feel it had to do with fictitious disputes with other cast members. However, the most startling MC's eyes twitched as he read the speculative comment from a former castmate, an anonymous account that had previously worked with Mendeecees, saying, "He ain't lying, they did the same thing to me." As you can see from the comments, I'm not alone. They've been turning individuals into villains and transforming genuine lives into a staged catastrophe for years in order to increase ratings. And the internet exploded as soon as you stopped playing along. You're out. Numerous blogs began covering his accusations in real time, and some former cast members even began making references to their own experiences. It was mayhem with the show's producers, but Mendeecees wasn't finished yet. Let me ask him something. Why do you believe so many OGs from Love and hip-hop suddenly vanish from the scene? He said in a forceful voice. You all honestly believe that they simply left, or do you believe that some of them were forced out? The conversation went crazy, conspiracy theories were rife, and there were a lot of C's. Was at the heart of it all. He had accomplished his goals, rewrote the story, put the producers in the spotlight, and altered the plot, but he was unaware that this was. BCS couldn't believe the storm that had exploded around him since the rumors of this firing started, and the reality TV world had been set on fire. It was only the beginning of an even bigger storm. However, what truly astounded him was how many people were abandoning him. People he had once thought of as family, and how the final betrayal occurred when a production team insider leaked MSEs was incensed that he had remained silent for too long, citing alleged official justifications for his dismissal that portrayed him as a liability to the program and a challenging collaborator. But now that it was time to clear his reputation, he sat at home and went through countless letters and comments, some from supporters, but also many from people who had already written he was kicked out by BCs because he became too comfortable. According to one statement, he believed he was untouchable, but Mona showed him that he was mistaken when his phone buzzed constantly with calls from reporters, former co-stars, and even some industry insiders wanted to know the truth, but he wasn't ready to speak just yet. Yandy was watching him from the other side. Everyone could see the fire in his eyes. "You can't let them dictate the story," she added in a forceful yet gentle voice. "You know how this business operates. If you don't say anything, they'll keep changing the story. They're portraying me as someone I'm not, and you know quite well that I didn't do half the work." The truth and Mendeecees breathed hard. You think I don't know that, but this isn't just a simple misunderstanding. They're accusing me of sitting next to Yandy Node, so what's the deal? You're remaining cooped up here. Reading comments won't make everything better. And Mendeecees have run a hand down his before glancing up at her. Yandy's eyes widened. Are you sure that's the best way to deal with them? They'll attempt to twist everything you say. I'm going live tonight, and I'm going to put the record right. As the hours went by and the anticipation grew, BC lashed back, saying, I don't want to sit here and let them destroy my name. They want drama, so I'll give it to them, but only on my terms. Name went viral on social media, and even prominent gossip websites hinted that he could finally speak up, with some speculating that he might reveal some behind-the-scenes scandal. Others thought he was going to make shocking accusations against the producers, but when he eventually pressed the Instagram Live button, it was obvious that everyone was watching. Thousands poured in a matter of seconds. The energy was electrifying, and he stared intently into the camera. All right, let's be clear now. He started, I wasn't fired because I was challenging. I wasn't fired for causing trouble. Rather, I was dismissed for refusing to continue playing their game. The comment section went crazy, with people requesting additional information and inquiring as to what he meant the Mendeecees he was referring to. And his tone was calm but emotional. There are many things you all don't know about how this program actually operates, and they wanted me to be a part of it. They wanted me to perform a staged phony mess that would make me look horrible, which went against everything I stood for. When I refused, they determined I was a problem backstage. Reality TV has always had drama, but this was a clear accusation. Rather than merely implying that he and the producers were at odds, he was saying that they had attempted to influence his plot. And after he resisted, they let him go. What did they want you to do? A fan comment appeared on the screen, and Mendeecees Smurf, let's just say, if I had Yandy's voice might be heard in the background of their little scheme, which would have you seeing a whole other image of me on your screens, a version that isn't real, and that isn't who I am. Backdrop, you're certain you want to say that Mindy's eyes turned slightly, but he didn't turn away from the camera. Yandy, I've been silent for too long, and now that I've seen where it got me, it's time for everyone to know. In reality, the live chat was a flurry of speculation. Some admirers felt he was discussing a romantic triangle, while others thought it had to do with fictitious disputes with other cast members. But the most startling rumor surfaced when an unidentified former castmate who had previously collaborated with MCCs said, "He ain't lying. He did the same thing to me." As he read the statement, NBC's eyes darted. "I'm not alone," he said. "They've been doing this for years, turning people into villains and converting genuine lives into a staged mess for the sake of ratings." And the internet exploded as soon as he stopped playing along, and several sites began reporting on his accusations in real time. Some former cast members even began to make references to their own experiences. He remarked in a stern voice, "Why do you think so many OGs from Love and hip-hop just disappear out of nowhere?" The producers of the show were in disarray, but Mendeecees wasn't finished yet. The conversation became crazy, conspiracy theories were rife, and Mendeecees were everywhere. Do you honestly think they all just left, or did some of them get driven out? Was at the heart of it all. He had accomplished his goals, rewrote the story, put the producers in the spotlight, and altered the plot, but he was unaware that this was the truth has been revealed by Mendeecees' store men. But is this only the beginning? Will his startling disclosures compel the industry to give him another chance? Or will his fans are split on whether or not Ems should return to the program, now that his career is officially finished? Some think he deserves justice, while others argue he brought everything on himself. This is his last chapter, so please drop your remarks in the space provided. And if you thought this exploding truth bomb was shocking, please remember to switch on, like, and subscribe. Notifications, due to the fact that this drama is far from above